Okay, here's the truth. Not feeling very hot fudgy today, but I guess everybody has those kind of days. I don't know if it's because of the fact that Friday the kids got out of school and I still have a couple more days at the school to wrap things up and move into my new room before summertime begins. Getting prepared for that transition, and this is the really the first summer that I've had. Gosh, probably in the last 20 some years where I didn't have to work while my family was off, and now we're all on the same schedule. So am I going through or feeling old patterns of preparation for transition? That's really not going to happen because we're all in the same transition. I don't know. It could be the fact that it's kind of rainy outside, and and it's gray, and maybe that's the reason why. But it's just one of those days when I didn't really feel like getting up and coming. And I think the preacher thing to say, the pastor thing to say is that, but I persevered and I pushed through and I came and God blessed, and the lesson learned is that the hardest thing to do is to show up, and all that's very true. All that's very true. But today really didn't measure up that way. It was a worship experience that kind of for me was flat. I know my message, I believe, was flat today. Just a reference to where I am today. Not anybody else's fault, and I don't even know if I can say it's someone's fault. It's just the reality of where it is that, some hot fudge sundaes are better than others. Because the hot fudge sundaes are made up of many ingredients. You've got the ice cream, you've got the hot fudge. You've got the balance of temperature between the coldness of the ice cream and the hotness of the fudge, and how the fudge cools at the bottom of the bowl, and all those things go into making a good hot fudge sundae. And sometimes we will just have days where our get up and go has got up and went, and I don't know. I don't think there's really any other explanation that needs to go with it, or I don't think there's any apologies that need to be given. It's just the reality, and that's the way that it is. And we move forward. And kind of appropriate that I feel this on a day when we took a look at island number 7, and that's the island of self-examination, Bible reading, and prayer to know God, to know God's will, and to have the power to follow God's will. And I think that's part of what I'm kind of dealing with too, because figure I'm going on ending of my first year of being a full-time teacher and a part-time pastor, and for 20 years before that I was all ministry. And so this has been something new. So there's been a lot of adjustments that's been going on. That a lot of self-examination has been going on with that. And I think that today on this day, I feel kind of disconnected. I don't think separated is a good word. I don't feel that God is like far away or anything like that. I feel that I'm kind of disconnected a little bit. That I'd rather be someplace else, and I'd rather be doing something else. And that's just a reality, and it has nothing to do with disliking anything or where I am or what I'm doing, but it just has to do with being real. And I think there's a lot of reasons for it, but it's part of the self-examination piece, the part of getting to know God. And I know in order for me to get to know God, I've got to be real with Him, and I can't fake it. I can't go through the motions. And today, I think that my old me would have a tendency to fake it and go through the motions, and just don't want to do that. And I didn't want to record this Hot Fudge Sunday and not reference the fact that it's one of those days, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about because you've had one of those days too, where you just don't feel like it. You just don't feel up to it, and and that happens. Fully knowing that tomorrow's a new day, and we move forward. And I did show up, and I would never not show up because something that I do, let alone the fact that it's my responsibility. But um, it's a part of who I am. Worship is a part of who I am. So even if I wasn't here doing this, I would have been somewhere doing something. And I guess that's what I hope that you're doing right now. I hope that you're somewhere doing something. And if you're feeling kind of disconnected and kind of got your get up and goes, got up and went, then just embrace it. Just be real with it. God can handle it, and allow yourself to be in that moment. That's a part of the journey to be. How can I allow myself to be and not try to force myself to be what I think I should be? And that's part of the self-examination piece that we looked at today on island number 7. But I guess that's about it. I guess I could ramble on for a little bit longer, but I'm sure you have other things that you would like to do and you could be doing right now. So, as I say every week, I hope that this week has a great you. And tune in next week for hopefully a better Hot Fudge Sunday than this week. I'll see you soon.